I've already told you everything I know.
We'll just need one more, for the records, please.
Everything since then went wrong. We never recovered. I can't talk anymore.
You understand that what you are saying may have serious consequences.
It was all in front of our eyes. The two houses, the bus, the chaotic lanes.
Are you talking about
Nuketown? It has always been Nuketown. I think they're coming to get me. I have to go. Wait, what was that?
What if it all started here? What if this little decoy town sparked the unrelenting decline of Call of Duty's map design? Every theory needs an origin point, a first clue hidden somewhere in the past. And in this case, that clue takes us back to the 5th of November 2007. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare makes its debut to critical acclaim, discarding the World War II setting and projecting itself into the future. And it also projected players into a new dimension of online multiplayer gaming. New weapons, new concepts like perks and killstreaks, and new maps. Many of said maps were adaptations from the scenarios of the campaign. Some were good, some were bad, but all of them were believable. Among them though, one stood out as an outlier of canonical map design. Shipment.
Team deathmatch. Let's do this.
Although born by accident, it became an instant favorite among fans because it promoted a radically different and more chaotic gameplay. Relentless gunfire, grenades pouring from all sides, and utter disregard for map design common sense. Players liked it, and developers at Activision took notes. So when Call of Duty World at War came out a year later, they tried to achieve the same result with another small map. Dome.
Team deathmatch! March together to victory!
Like Shipment, however, Dome made sense both thematically and from a design standpoint. Players found the same fast-paced gameplay, but with a new coat of paint that meant to disguise Dome, to make it blend in more with the rest of the maps, that mind you, were actually getting bigger and better compared to COD 4. But COD's map design wouldn't reach its peak until a year later, when Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 introduced some of the best to ever do it. And of course, among them all, another child of Shipment crept forward. Rust.
Team deathmatch. Let's do this.
Rust was not even close to the level of design and care of the other maps of MW2, and yet it would never be vetoed out of rotation because it provided a unique spin on the gameplay, much like Shipment did a couple of years prior. In addition, with the rise in popularity of YouTube, Rust became the place to farm clips and montages of impressive kill feeds. At this point, the golden age of Call of Duty's map design was in full swing. Everyone was eagerly waiting for the next batch of multiplayer maps that would come with the next installment. And Treyarch made sure to deliver. Because on November the 9th, 2010, Call of Duty Black Ops launched to great effect, shattering the previous record of copies sold, set to become an instant classic. And among the selection of flawlessly designed maps, one stood out from the rest. Nuketown was, in a way, a clever mix of the previous arena-style maps. It had everything: the fast-paced, non-stop action of Shipment, the recognizable look and feel of Dome, the variety potential of Rust. But where the other maps up until this point were designed to be somewhat believable, to be a credible battleground where two opposing sides would fight over, Nuketown was built to be something else. Two houses, a blind alley, some mannequins. No real geography, just quick and easy action for players to feast on. A dopamine capsule. And the players absolutely loved it. Nuketown would win a poll against any of the other maps. It seemed like designers finally nailed the perfect blend of elements to keep players engaged. Little did they know, they changed the course of their game. Forever. At this point in our story, Call of Duty was the leading force in the ever-growing market of online gaming, but competitors were slowly beginning to catch up and, for the first time maybe ever, COD needed to put some work into retaining its players. Modern Warfare 3, though, was met with mixed reviews. It wasn't easy to replicate the success of Black Ops, and it didn't help that the same year, DICE's Battlefield 3 was praised for its excellent multiplayer experience. MW3 lacked something, and that something was innovation. Meanwhile, BF3 felt like a real upgrade both from its predecessors and to the other shooters on the market. It was apparent that to counter the Battlefield's rising tide, Call of Duty needed to do something to win back its player base, to appease its community. And the way to do it was, in a sense, get back to the roots. So with Black Ops 2, COD got back to offering a more quote-unquote arcade experience. How? The answer was still Nuketown, only this time with a new coat of paint. And some fresh new friends. Standoff, Raid, Slums, Cargo, Carrier, and of course, Hijacked. All arena maps, all fast-paced, all non-stop action. Remember, the main goal was to win back the community, but Call of Duty did not do it by innovating, it simply dove deeper into its strong points. Because when it really tried to innovate and change its multiplayer experience, it backfired spectacularly. The release of Call of Duty Ghosts was met with heavy criticism. For the first time in years, the game dialed back on its inflation of arena maps in favor of a more balanced blend, even introducing maps that change layout or appearance during the matches. And yet, the only thing players remember about it is the Stonehaven gameplay experience. This was not fun. Moreover, this was more similar to a discount Battlefield than a Call of Duty. In hindsight, COD Ghosts would be reevaluated by the community, that years later would give it credit for what it tried to do. After all, to notice something you miss, you first have to lose it. But for now, all the community was missing was the non-stop adrenaline-filled action it grew accustomed to. What Nuketown worsened was the latent demand of near-instant gratification. Players were no more looking for fights set in a realistic, credible environment. The players asked for chaos, and chaos they received, one Nuketown at a time. The suspension of disbelief shattered, because the objective was no more to impersonate a soldier fighting a never-ending war. Now, the objective was to chase highlights.
Friendly airstrike on the way.
To be honest, the goose chase for a better kill-death ratio and explosive kill streaks had been around since Call of Duty went modern in its warfare, but the simultaneous growth of online social platforms really kicked it into gear.
Tactical nuke ready for launch.
Now, everyone with an internet cable could see you getting your game-ending nuclear. And finally, the introduction of advanced movement perfected the proverbial storm. Starting from Infinite Warfare, Call of Duty saw a continuous increase in gameplay speed thanks to the introduction of this concept, which projected the game even further in the realm of arena shooters. And to function properly, it needed arena-style maps, with lots of kills, lots of deaths, and lots of points. After all, how else am I supposed to reach that fabled mastery camo? Weapon camos, and broadly speaking unlockable cosmetics, had been around since the original Modern Warfare. As the years went by though, the inflation in the number of unlockable cosmetics grew larger, and all of a sudden, dozens of camos, call signs and emblems were up for the grab. To get them, there were challenges to complete, and assignments to go through, and so the natural progression left space for an often unrelenting grind to have something to show for. Developers had found a way to keep players engaged, and players had to find a way to optimize their time spent grinding. And it is in this context that arena maps kept growing in popularity, simply because they granted the faster route to reach an objective. The objective of completing challenges, having fun while doing so, was secondary, at best. Finally, the advent of loot boxes and battle passes were the nail in the coffin of map design. These practices, that someone would call predatory, forced players even more into the grind loop, but also skewed designers into perfectly symmetrical, perfectly balanced arenas, reaching originality and believability for good. Before Nuketown, the architectural logic, the layout, the look and feel of a battleground were the set pieces where gameplay took place. Starting from Nuketown, the research of instant engagement and user retention gradually morphed maps from believable places to simple levels. A dopamine capsule, a precursor of the modern predatory design that today dominates live services and social media. The player doesn't play anymore. Grind, be rewarded, repeat. In a virtual space that feels a lot like a topographic slot machine. In a sense, the impact that Nuketown had can be seen as a reflection of how our society changed over the years. The continued research for the next dopamine hit, the increasing speed at which everything moves around us, the grind mindset, the inevitable transformation of hobbies and pastimes into a chore. The similarities are uncanny. Maybe it has always been Nuketown. Wait, it was all in front of our eyes. It all started from there and... Huh? What was that?